Hey, this is David from the Modern Martial Artist, and that was an epic fight. Another good one. That to me far surpassed the last mega fight, I guess, the Maymac. It was good for different reasons. This one was two very technical masters who knew the sport inside and out. Just give everything they had, pretty much. And Maymac was more not just the novelty, also proving that MMA, the skill levels there, even if they're not specialists. With McGregor doing so much better than expected, at least on my account. A lot of people expected him to knock out Mayweather. But, and it was a great send-off for Mayweather, too. And it was interesting seeing how a boxer who utilized grappling so much dealt with someone who was very used to grappling, and it was fun seeing Mayweather fight going forward again. That was cool. But this one was just so... It was my favorite kind of fight because it was technical, but it was exciting all at the same time. I need to watch over it again. I'm watching it right now, again, too. Obviously, it's a lot more jabs landed by Triple G, and you can't really make the argument for most boxing matches where they throw the loose kind of flicky jabs, the ones that Jack Dempsey complains, he spent an entire page complaining about on his book. You can't really say, well, jabs don't count for much when it comes to Triple G, because they absolutely do. They knock your head back, they knock you back. I can't remember who it was, but he knocked someone down with it. Not out, but they knocked him down with it. At the same time, you can't deny that when he did land, Canelo landed the cleaner shots, the cleaner power shots most of the time, I felt. Like I said, I need to watch it again. I'm watching it right now. I felt when he connected, he really connected. Not more often. I feel they hit about the same amount of power shots, and I feel some of Triple G's hit very, very clean. But what made this such a great fight on so many levels is, man, they both have phenomenal chins. Absolutely incredible. Obviously, they know how to... It's a matter of Golovkin knowing how to deflect a punch and kind of make it go off his guard or the top of his head or his shoulders. Or Triple G knows how to do that. Hopefully I said Triple G when I said that. I don't remember. But with Canelo, it's kind of the opposite, to where he knows how to roll with a punch really, really well. And you saw that a couple times, where if he'd kind of leaned into it, or if Triple G caught him coming in, he could have knocked him out. And the same obviously with Golovkin. If Canelo hit him with some of those punches and his guard wasn't raised, then he might have been done for. But so they're both experts at not getting knocked out. That's kind of important for boxing. You need to be able to take some shots here and there, especially at a high level. But aside from it being an offensive fighter with good jabs, just chasing someone, and then another fighter who's more defensive counter kind of going around the ring, there was a lot more to it than that, and I look forward to breaking it down a lot. That will definitely be coming. I looked at the Mayweather-McGregor fight, and I'd only be breaking down things that would kind of be like how the rules of boxing were manipulated by both fighters, which isn't an entertaining video for anyone. And everything else was kind of obvious, and I felt I already covered it in my earlier videos. I said that even if McGregor did well or better than expected in the early rounds, then he'd still need to adjust to Floyd readjusting. I said that Floyd could get aggressive and that he'd probably knock him out with the right hand that he'd lead with, which he almost did. It got stopped before that. So I don't really feel there's anything left to talk about. I feel this fight has a lot to talk about. What really excites me is that I was hearing in this clip real quick, I was hearing, I couldn't hear much because I watched it in a bar with my wife and some friends, but I was hearing Canelo's corner say that when Triple G was pivoting to throw his cross when Canelo was going off the ropes and Triple G was pivoting trying to follow him, that Canelo should then counter. I think they said counter with a hook, and I think it led to an incredible exchange where there was like, I think it was just back and forth, like 5 misses from each guy. Just absolutely incredible defense from both sides. Truly amazing. And as far as offense go, or punches that connected, like I said, both these guys ate some big shots. That, like, you know, I was watching. I'm like, if I got hit with one of those, man, I'd be waking up like a couple hours later, being like, "Hey, what happened? Oh man, you called Triple G's wife fat." I did. Yeah, you really shouldn't have done that. He knocked you the hell out. So yeah, I would not want to take those shots, man. That's no good. But it was a great crowd where I was at. It was somehow the crowd split up to where the cheering was pretty much even for both fighters, which made it really entertaining and really fun to be there. And I had such a hard time choosing who I was rooting for. I always like to root for the aggressor, unless it's a fighter that's kind of like Muhammad Ali, to where they pick you down, but then they charge in at the end in flurry. And you saw Canelo get more and more aggressive, so that was good. That was really good when I think he realized that he might lose on points. And you never know what the hell could happen with judges, and we'll talk about that in a second, because that's kind of what's on everyone's mind at this point is corrupt judging. But you never really know what's in the judge's mind, but you don't want to leave it to chance. So Canelo kind of got more aggressive for a couple of rounds, which was really fun to see, because I can't remember which round it was. I feel like it was the 7th or 8th, but like I said, I need to rewatch it again, because no way I can just remember that. But I feel like it was somewhere around there, maybe the 9th or 10th, when Canelo kind of gave up for a while on backing up to counter or going against the ropes to counter, and just decided to really go for it, and we got kind of a brawl, and that was fun too. So yeah, way more details when we get into it in the breakdown. I'll definitely be doing that in a couple days. And what a fantastic fight. I really couldn't be happier. Now for the judging. I felt that, I think a split decision in this case, given the prestige of both fighters, how accomplished they are, and how they both put a lot of heart and soul into it. I think Triple G maybe a little bit more than Canelo, but I don't know. Canelo looked gassed, and then Triple G did kind of too. I think. Oh, this is something I didn't bring up. Triple G, I wasn't sure if he's, his earlier fights, he was able to really put a lot more power into his punches and hit a lot faster at the end of his fights. And I'll go back to the scorecard in a minute, I promise. But this one, I wasn't sure if it was his age. I think more likely it was Canelo's shots to the body, or the fact that Triple G just missed so many punches and that tires you out. But his punches did not look like they were snappy or clean, or even had the wind-up power on them. The stretch shorten cycle, the elastic tension, whatever you want to call it. It didn't even seem to have that. He didn't seem to be putting as much torque into his punches, or as much snap, or they didn't seem as stiff. He wasn't tightening as much. They weren't as stiff. He wasn't tightening at the end of them. And more than anything, they just didn't look sharp. And like I said, maybe age. He's definitely getting up there. That would warrant some slowdown. But I think it was the missing, and then I think some of those body blows probably got to him. And then he got this bad uppercut. And he gave Canelo a pretty good one too. But he got this bad uppercut that he didn't really try to ride at all. Didn't try to, to lean back on it, or couldn't, or didn't acknowledge it in time. And he got turned into like 5 chin guy for a second. That guy you see at like the pasta restaurant with like the 3 chins, like the Monty Python meaning of life guy. He got turned into that guy for a second. And that was bad, and he kind of slowed down after that. I think he was actually, both of them were kind of shook up at certain times. But what was interesting is that both of them respected each other enough to not go in for the kill afterwards. I think there were a couple times Triple G really knocked Canelo, but he didn't know, and I sure as hell didn't know, if he was just playing possum. because that's something he's known to do, and he you know, obviously he's much more subtle at it than Ali, who made it kind of into a spectacle, questioning, you know, if the person's being mocked or tricked or whatever. But Canelo, couple times I just thought he could have been swarmed and destroyed, and with the uppercut he gave Triple G, I thought that was a time that he could have actually done that, because even though Triple G was pressing forward, it's something about the way he moved made me think he was acting. You know, that he was obviously pretending it didn't hurt as bad as he did. All boxers do that. But something about the way he was moving made me think he's pressing forward and he's kind of desperate at this point, and he took a while to get going after that. This is all from memory. I could be off. I'm not intoxicated this time, thankfully. I decided to watch this one just kind of, and it was just as fun too, actually. So I think I might do that, because I'll give a better, like, clearer analysis after it if I want to do this again or whatever. But anyways, I'm so sorry. Back to the sports card. The scorecard. So, the scorecard? Yeah, the scorecard, I could, like I said, for all those reasons, it could definitely warrant a draw, and I'd be very happy to see this fight again. I feel like Triple G edged it, and so I kind of feel bad for him, because he's waited so long for this fight, and he's not getting any younger. And if the slowdown is due to age, it's especially bad because he took much more damage than he's used to taking. Like I said in my breakdown, he's willing to take some shots to give some harder shots and knock the guy out. He mostly just deflects off his guard, uses kind of his whole upper body as kind of a block, kind of like an angled block. But he was taking some legitimately bad shots, and who knows how that's gonna affect him. There was one that wasn't the uppercut. He seemed to be turning out of it, but it still snapped his head back. I think it was a cross. Might have been a rear hook. But he got more damage, and he's getting up there. And Canelo's still reasonably young. So it's just not good for him, and I feel bad, even though it could be warranted. But that one judge, everyone is saying that she's horribly corrupt and that she doesn't know what she's talking about and that she was bribed. And I just want to say that I 100% completely agree. I think you either have to be a blind person to score it that way. I think it was 118. Man, it was basically saying that Canelo won 10 of those rounds, which there's no way a person could know so little about boxing. Because I feel a casual fan, like, let's say that she's like, I don't know if you remember this movie. It's very bad. I loved it as a preteen. Kung Pao Enter the Fist, and there's that guy Wimp Lo, right? And Wimp Lo just says he keeps getting beat up, and he goes, "I'm bleeding, making me the victor." And the guy goes, "Forgive Wimp Lo, we taught him wrong on purpose, as a joke." Like, I don't know if she was trained under Wimp with that same philosophy, because a casual fan, someone who doesn't, you know, casual fans don't pay attention as much to body blows or counters or what's going off the guard or how clean a shot hits. A casual fan would have given it to Triple G way more than it actually was, and I still feel Triple G won, but a casual fan would probably have thought he won a lot more than he actually did. But that much, 10 rounds, that's for Canelo, that's like, you know, a casual fan. So it's not that she doesn't know anything, because a casual fan would have called it for Triple G, and apparently she got her job through her husband, so that's always great when you know, your relative or your spouse does something, so you get that honor and that prestige and that responsibility. That's always great. But it goes beyond. It has to go beyond her not knowing anything. You think, apparently she's had I think her name is Bird or Beard or Byard. I don't know how it's. I've only seen it spelled. But apparently it's she's had a lot of controversies in the past with this kind of thing, and MMA too. So she's kind of diluting and corrupting both sports. And boxing has a bad reputation. And it's a warranted bad reputation for the scoring, and it really turns off fans, especially people who tune in. All the people who tuned into this thinking that you know, they knew what was going on, and they're like, "What the hell is that?" That's gonna turn them off. So MMA doesn't need that, because MMA has had that before, but it's not. It doesn't have that reputation as bad as boxing yet. But if people like her keep worming their way in, it will. And it's certainly not doing boxing any good, especially when boxing's finally getting some attention. Finally, because of I mean, if you're a boxing fan and hate McGregor, at least acknowledge he brought in a lot of new fans for you guys, and I'm really happy about that. I think boxing, I said before, I love them both. Boxing feels more, I don't know, just kind of raw or elemental to me, even though I think I'm better as a martial artist with my feet than with my hands, because I just started so much younger in karate when I was a kid. Hitting something just feels like, I don't know, more personal, more real. I connect with it more as a fan, than as a fighter, I guess. And I love that aspect of it. But at the same time, it's had so long to evolve as a sport that you get this technical aspect of it that's really great to watch too. Man. To kind of bring in new fans and get them excited about it, and then for the corrupt judging to kind of come in is not good. I don't know if anyone's actually, I doubt, maybe everyone's kind of blowing this out of proportion, because are the casual fans really gonna care that much about the score? Or are they gonna care that they saw a good fight? So maybe it's not that bad of a deal. It pisses me off. I could tell you that. It ticks me off, but it's like a scratch. It's like you get to eat a bowl of your favorite ice cream, but you also get like a scratch, like a paper cut. It's like, yeah, there was a little bit of pain, it's a little bit of a blemish, but you also got to eat the bowl of ice cream. So why are you really complaining? Did you not want the ice cream? Don't you think it was worth it just for a paper cut? But yeah, so that wasn't good, but that leads us to the rematch. I think if either fighter won or lost on the scorecard, there would have been, there would have been a call for a rematch regardless, just because it's such a great fight, and both fighters hit each other hard and weren't able to knock each other out, and the fact it went to decision meant that they'd both be going for a knockout much, much harder the next fight too. You would assume. So this definitely calls for a rematch, and if anything, this corrupt judge might make the rematch more exciting, because both these guys, I'm sure, don't want to leave it up to the judges. I mean, they didn't before. They don't. I'm sure they didn't want to get so reckless they got knocked out. That'd be really bad. But they also don't want to leave it up to the scorecard. But I think now more so, probably. If they decide to do it. If I were Triple G, I might just say, well, I felt I won the fight, and I'm getting older, and I have some more, people I'd like to do without getting my head bashed around with this same guy again, and I'm on to that. But I have mixed feelings on it. I'd love to see a second fight, especially with the heightened tension and the stakes being higher. But yeah, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it. I'd still, at the same time, I'd still like to see Triple G fight some more competitors. If there's anyone out there, who wants to do that. If there's a high level fighter that would take that fight, Okay, last thing. So Canelo cracked me the hell up with that punch behind his back. He's had to have done that before as like a joke in sparring. He probably was not in the least bit planning on doing it. But that just made me like him even more as not just as a fighter, but as a person, because this is like a high stake fight. I mean, he's been in a high stake fight before, for sure. You could maybe argue it was more than this, but to be able to do that and then goof around and have that sense of humor, that was hilarious. And if you haven't seen that, then just look it up. He's basically Triple G. Was in a position to where he was in like a headlock. He had his head in his armpit, and then Canelo reached behind and then gave him like a quick pop. Obviously no power. I could do like a joke breakdown of it. Watch how he puts his hips and braces the head. But that was funny. So yeah, both classy guys, both respected each other. Absolutely fantastic fight. You got a bad judge. What are you gonna do? And I hope to see a rematch. and I hope to see both these guys fight again. So that's it for this decidedly more sober post-fight podcast. I hope you guys are having a great day or night at this point. I should probably do something fun because it's Saturday. Yeah, happy training.